Thank you. Nominee, you've talked about customer satisfaction. I put it to you that KPLC customers are the most dissatisfied. And I want to believe that there are serious management challenges to do with the leadership of KPLC. Why do I say that? A simple task, but of urgent nature, like restoring a falling post or a collapsing post, goes a time bomb. It can collapse any time, it's posing danger, and in certain instances it has occasioned deaths. It will take forever before it is restored. Actually, there is one about to fall onto my house. You will call the so-called regional directors. There is no response. Secondly, restoring power when there are those frequent outages. A transformer has failed or has busted, and some of them are in learning institutions in our regions. It is adversely affecting learning. In my constituency, some of them have taken more than 6 months, and it's not only in my constituency, it cuts across the country. If you are actually approved, you tell us what you're going to do about some of these management issues. Meter acquisition, you have applied for meters. And I'm told even these meters are already being adulterated by the cartels in the industry. You will wait forever. Kenyans have to bribe to get meters. Now, knowing the Wandayi that we know, I want to believe you're going to fight corruption in the energy sector. Sometimes, villagers have had to come together in there's a chama for power, so that they put money together to procure an independent electrician to restore power. This is the Kenya we are living in, Honorable Wandayi. And finally, you've talked about making sure that all the power lines, the projects that are incomplete or ongoing, that you will make sure they are completed in the shortest time possible. And I'm asking myself, Honorable Wandayi, where are you going to get the money from? Because after rationalization of the budget and the collapse of the finance bill, which you strongly objected to, reject the bill, can you tell us where you're going to get resources to finance all those projects? Because I want to believe the reason they are incomplete is because of funding. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Nominee, there are some key transmission lines that are yet to be constructed. And with the shrinking revenue and reduced headroom to borrow, what are you going to do to ensure that they are done, since the country needs them?
Honorable Mishimbo.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chairman. Honorable Chairman, my first question is on environmental concerns. And I'm talking about the proposed Lamu coal power plant. I know there have been some opposition from environmental groups concerned about the impact on the local ecosystem. So my question is, how will you balance energy needs with environmental protection? My second question, it is on the issue of the project dubbed the Lake Turkana Wind Power Project. I know you are once the chair of PAC, and I was also in the committee of PAC, and this matter kept on coming and coming each and every time. This project was at a tune of 70 billion, and so many billions had been already utilized. So I just want to ask you, do you see that the taxpayers' money had some value to where we are right now in regards to that Lake Turkana wind? I know you are not yet the Minister for that energy. Maybe you are going to be approved. I want you to check on this, because a lot of money have really been utilized, and yet we don't see any tangible results from that. My last question, it is in reference on what happened in Embakasi on the 2nd of February, where there was the explosion, and so many Kenyans were killed and some were injured. Again, there was an explosion by the petroleum tanker in Sashangwani about 11 years back, the other one at Molo. So my concern is, what safe standard measures are you going to put in place to ensure that we save Kenyans from such fatal accidents and any other times? I thank you, Honorable Chairman.
Sharia.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mheshimiwa Wandayi. And as my colleague Murugada said, Balambala is connected to the national grid. And when we have power outages, you can imagine in my constituency, just to repair some lines took 7 months, and the people of Balambala were in the dark for 7 months. I appreciate KPLC. I've been trying to call them to fix, which finally they said they will this week. Kindly, can you, if approved, could you look into the turnaround or how fast they can attend to faults within the line? Because you can imagine a whole constituency which produces almost 54 megawatts and adds it to the national grid through solar, being in the dark for 7 months. How will I explain that to my constituents? So kindly look into that. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
It doesn't require kindness, it requires responsibility.
You know, he was my leader, so sometimes I have to treat him with the same respect that I did when he was my leader.
It requires responsibility. Nominee, can you answer those?
Okay, thank you. I'll try to be brief. And again, Honorable Mase is spot on. Yeah, the matter of customer satisfaction is known to all of us in terms of services by KPLC. What I think, without really going into details, because I'm here to assume the office. Honorable Speaker, what I think KPLC requires, and it's a giant company, actually employing over 10,000 people. What I think KPLC requires is an urgent, what we call business process reengineering, to look at the totality, okay, of the architecture of the management of KPLC processes and functions. Honorable Speaker. 2 is the question of transmission lines that are yet to be completed. Honorable Speaker, some of the lines, actually nearly all of the lines that I mentioned earlier on, that I will try to fast track their completion, have got funding. Okay? They have got funding as we speak. And most of the funding coming from development partners. So my work will be to work closely with the agencies responsible to have these projects completed within the timelines that are stipulated. Honorable Mukami, again, is basically speaks to the question that has been raised by Honorable Masi. Yes. And I will work closely with you if I get the honor of being approved, yeah, to see to it that this is done, the matter of completion of these transmission lines. Honorable Mishi, yes. The question of carbon emissions is very serious. But again, we shall have to work closely with all stakeholders to strike a balance between energy needs of the country and environmental protection. That delicate balance will have to be struck, Honorable Speaker. Yes.
Just on the same.
Yes.
If you allow me, Mr. Speaker, I don't want to allow myself. Thank you. I would like to ask you a question on nuclear energy. You know, there's a proposal in my...
It's not the same.
No,
He was answering a question on coal.
that is called, this is nuclear.
How can it be the same?
It's different.
Yes. Let him finish answering those questions, then I'll give you...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, Lake Turkana wind project. Honorable Speaker, for sure, this is a matter again of public notoriety. I kept hearing about it when I was in the last parliament, I think. Yes, it was within the purview of the Committee on Energy and PIC then. I'm aware, despite all the issues that were raised then and even now, that eventually the power is being generated. Okay? As a matter of fact, Honorable Speaker, in our total installed, out of our total installed energy capacity, which is about 3,200 megawatts, The wind power is accounting for about 460 megawatts or so. The bulk of which is from this Lake Turkana wind. So I will take time once I assume, if and when I assume office, to establish more details surrounding this project, yes, and to draw lessons from it that could inform our future engagement with similar projects. Yeah. Yeah, Honorable Speaker, yes, again, the issue of gas explosion in Bakassi, Sachangwan, and so on and so forth. It's a question of regulation. It's a question of regulation. I will be working closely with EPRA and enforcement of the law. Yes, I'll work closely with EPRA to see to it that these occurrences are a thing of the past. In fact, Honorable Speaker, one of the areas I'll be focusing on, if I get to be appointed, is to push the LPG uptake by the public in terms of cooking, okay? From the current about 40% to 100% by 2028, actually, 2028. That should be the target, Honorable Speaker. And we are going to work closely with all the relevant players to ensure that we make it possible for the Kenyan people in the countryside and everywhere else to access gas, clean energy for cooking. Because we can no longer continue in the manner we are continuing of using charcoal, using firewood. It's not sustainable, Honorable Speaker. Yeah. And therefore, if for this to happen, we must put in place a proper enforcement mechanism to forestall such unfortunate occurrences that have happened in the past. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Shurie of Mbalambala, again, the same issue of response by KPLC that was raised by Honorable Emasi. But I'm also happy that the solar plant in Garissa is really contributing immensely to the national grid. Currently, solar energy is accounting for about 220 megawatts of our total installed capacity, the bulk of which is coming from Garissa. And Mbalambala, to be specific. I'm also happy, Honorable Speaker, to notify honorable members that there's also a line which I need to fast track, a transmission line from Garsen to Garissa, that if completed will also help in connecting the populace around that area to the national grid. Honorable Baya, if you allow me, I just finish with him. Yes. Honorable Baya's question on nuclear energy.
He did not finish asking. Now you can ask.
I would like to say this, yes, we must generate electricity through other means, including safe energy like nuclear. There is a proposal to set up a nuclear plant in a place called Uyombo in Kilifi North constituency. And this has elicited a lot of reactions. It's not just about environment, it's just about human beings and preparedness of this country in venturing into nuclear energy and nuclear waste and all that whole realm about nuclear. But the people of Uyombo have said no, they have refused. And looking at many factors, and they have a right, they've been forced, they've been beaten, many things have happened to force them into this nuclear. Would you stand with the people of Uyombo and actually agree with them and look for other sources of energy other than nuclear?
Honorable Speaker, let me just take some 2 minutes to explain something. First and foremost, Kenya is a member state of the International Atomic Energy Agency that regulates matters nuclear across the world. And Kenya has adopted the International Atomic Agency's milestone approach in terms of establishing a nuclear energy plant. In this approach, there are phases that we have to go through. I am informed that the first phase, which involves public participation, among other things, has been undertaken. But more importantly, Honorable Speaker, we have even gone further and identified a site, an alternative site, as is required under the framework of the IEA. And the site, Honorable Speaker, is in Kwale County. The alternate site is in Kilifi County. The alternate site is in Kwale County, Honorable Speaker. What I want to assure honorable members, even though I haven't assumed the office, is that once I assume the office, if I if I do so, I will revisit the matter. Not as a way of stopping it, but as a way of encouraging more holistic involvement of all stakeholders as we move forward. Because this country, Honorable Speaker, my view, that is my personal view now, needs nuclear energy.
It is not only
Yes.
clean, but very cheap.
Correct. It will only rival geothermal energy in terms of contributing to our base load, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Russell?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.